5 forbidden places on Earth we dare you to visit. The world is a massive place with lots of awesome, breathtaking locations and beautiful holiday destinations. Whether you want to enjoy the sunny beaches of the Bahamas or you want to spend a couple of romantic nights in the city of Paris, there will always be a perfect place for your dream holiday. With advancements in transport technology, you are just hours away from any destination of your choice on the planet. Well, almost any destination. You may not know, but there are some forbidden places on the planet that are too unsafe for you to go. So in this video, we'll be showing you 5 forbidden places on Earth that we dare you to visit. Number 5, Chernobyl. If you've seen the Netflix series Chernobyl, then you probably know exactly what we're about to say. Located in northern Ukraine, Chernobyl was a bustling city housing more than 16,000 people. It was also home to a nuclear power plant that supplied electricity to its neighboring cities. But it is because of this particular nuclear power plant that Chernobyl has become a notorious place to visit. Tragedy struck in April 1986 while nuclear engineers were conducting systems tests on the power plant's 4th reactor. The engineers and all those living around the plant experienced a sudden surge of power that clearly indicated that something had gone seriously wrong. In line with safety procedures, the engineers initiated an emergency shutdown of the entire facility. But it only made matters worse. The shutdown immediately triggered a series of explosions that occurred within the plant's 4th reactor. The core of the reactor was exposed, and that sent a cloud of highly radioactive smoke into the air. The atmosphere around the plant was contaminated, and to make matters worse, atmospheric conditions caused the radioactive smoke to drift across large areas of the Soviet Union and Europe. The accident at the power plant instantly turned Chernobyl into a danger zone. The Soviets tried to cover up the incident, but a power plant in Sweden detected the radioactive smoke that had drifted from northern Ukraine after traveling thousands of miles. The Russians had no choice but to classify the accident at Chernobyl as a Level 7 international nuclear disaster. This was the first of only 2 occurrences to be classified as a Level 7 event on an international nuclear scale, the other being the 2011 Fukushima disaster in Japan. The result of this accident was that the entire power plant and the areas around Chernobyl were completely evacuated. Chernobyl became a radioactive wasteland. The Ukrainian government established a 90-mile exclusion zone around the nuclear reactor to ensure that no one ever gets close to it. Scientists say that it'll take hundreds, maybe thousands of years for Chernobyl to fully recover from this radioactive disaster. Chernobyl is currently one of the most radioactive spots in the world, and this has drawn a lot of scientists and tourists from all over the world just to see it. Now I know what you're thinking. If scientists and tourists can visit Chernobyl, then why is it on our list, right? Well, for starters, there's a limit to the amount of time you can spend in the location. There's also the 90-mile exclusion zone that has been placed around the 4th reactor, and no one is allowed to step into the core of this zone, not even the most experienced scientists. No one can even explore the immediate vicinity of the nuclear reactor that exploded. We dare you to try. Chernobyl is now a classic ghost town. You can still see the events of the shoes, cups, toys, and other paraphernalia that were left behind by the former inhabitants as they were forcibly evacuated from the location. One good thing, however, is that wildlife has continued to thrive in the region since the event. Evidently, animals there were not adversely affected by the levels of radiation in the atmosphere. Number 4, the North Sentinel Islands. Okay, let's tell you something about this place right away. Some people live on this island, so why is it forbidden? Well, try getting onto the island and see for yourself. Chances are that you won't make it very far, and if you do get in, you won't make it out alive to tell the story. Located in the Bay of Bengal, the North Sentinel Island is one of the last isolated human settlements in the world. The island is inhabited by the Sentinelese who have lived there for almost 60,000 years. The tribe does not like intruders. The island still maintains a virgin status. It has no modern technology whatsoever and is covered in thick rainforests, while its coasts are surrounded by beautiful, unexplored reefs. And just in case you're thinking about trying your luck to get onto the island, you should know that the natives have been recorded shooting arrows at low-flying aircraft that dare to come close to their home. These guys simply don't want any visitors, and they're not interested in communicating with the outside world. In 2004, after the devastating tsunami that hit the region, the Sentinelese fired at rescue helicopters that came to their aid. The fact that they shot these arrows shows at least that they survived the tsunami, but more importantly, it showed that they simply wanted to be left alone. There have been numerous attempts to make contact with the native tribe dating back to the 70s, but they were all repelled by vicious attacks from the Sentinelese. SmartVille International, the organization that monitors and protects tribal people, has since recommended that the Sentinelese be left alone. The Indian government now has declared it illegal to be within 5 kilometers of the North Sentinel Island. The closest you might ever get to the island is by taking aerial photographs of the location. But as far as stepping foot on the island, you can forget about that unless you want to be shot. Number 3, Monkey Island. If you already have a phobia for monkeys and their cunning antics, you shouldn't have a problem with staying away from this island. Monkey Island, which is actually named Sao Santiago, lies off the coast of Puerto Rico. And while it's full of playful apes, nothing about this island is friendly. To get the picture of how dark the island is, we have to take you back to an event in 1938 when American primatologist Clarence Ray Carpenter visited the island. He arrived on the island with 400 rhesus macaques, but rather than populate the island with these monkeys, he chose to conduct various experiments on them to understand how they behaved in adverse conditions. Carpenter was the first to use this island to conduct these kinds of experiments. He figured that it was easier to study monkeys on an island that was much closer to home rather than going on expeditions in Africa. Since Carpenter, for 80 years, a host of experiments have been conducted on the island, ranging from simple behavioral observation of the monkeys to more controversial tests on disease research. About 1,000 monkeys live on the island, and most of them are carriers of various types of viruses and diseases that could be very dangerous to humans. People who visit the island for research purposes are always instructed to ensure that they do not allow the monkeys to pee on them, partly because of the deadly health risks they pose to humans. Monkey Island is technically a public property, so anybody can visit the place. However, the government of Puerto Rico is now exploring how the rules can be adjusted so that only researchers with interest in the facility will be allowed on the island. Pending the time that law is passed, would you want to check this island out? I don't think so. The world can do without a new virus. Number 2, Heard Island. If you've never heard of Heard Island, it's probably because it's one of the most remote places on the planet. Heard Island sits midway between Australia and South Africa, and it's just 1,600 miles from Antarctica. The volcanic island is completely isolated from the rest of the world. Because of this, it remains one of the last places on Earth that has been untouched by human activity. The island is totally covered in snow and glaciers, and is also home to a 2,745-meter tall volcano, which is called Big Bend Rising, which sits at the center of the island. The fact that Heard Island has remained undisturbed for centuries makes it a great place to observe natural forces at work, such as glacial flows, volcanic activities, and wildlife. Heard Island has been designated a marine reserve by the Australian government because of the presence of animal species that are unique to the island. What this means is that no one is allowed to venture close to the island without express permission from the Australian government. If that's not enough to deter you from exploring the island, the hostile ocean environment surrounding it means that boats can only make it to the shore of the island once in 3 years on average. And these boats are almost always chartered for scientific trips. If you somehow manage to get on the island, prepare yourself for endless snow and sub-zero temperatures. Number 1, Snake Island. If you're terrified of snakes, then that name alone is reason enough for you to never step on this island. But if you're undeterred, let's keep going. Also known as the Island of Adark-Lamanda, Snake Island is home to some of the most dangerous snakes on the planet. From the outside, the island looks like every other pretty island, but what lives within is far from pretty. Snake Island is the only known habitat for the Bothrops and Solaris, which are also known as golden lancet vipers. It is estimated that about 4,000 of these snakes live on this island. These snakes are so fear-inducing that even the Brazilian Navy avoids entering Snake Island at all costs. They only venture into the island to look after the automated lighthouse that was rapidly built there in 1909. It's unclear how these snakes got to dominate the island. The most popular theory is that the snakes got trapped on the island some 11,000 years ago when the sea levels rose so high. Because they've been left isolated for so long, the snakes have developed the most potent and fastest acting venom in the world. On the island, the snakes prey on birds as their major diet. The challenge, however, is that without a powerful venom, The birds, in a bid to escape, will fly away from the snake after they've been bit. Most times it'll mean that the snakes won't be able to reach their food. The solution to this problem was for the snakes to develop a deadly, fast-acting venom that would incapacitate their prey in minutes. If a human were to be bitten by these snakes, the injected venom would cause the flesh of the victim to melt quickly as it dissolves tissues with ease. Without immediate medical attention, the victim will most quickly be dead in a few minutes. The last thing anybody wants is to be bitten by one of these venomous vipers. The government of Brazil has banned anyone from visiting this nightmarish island. Although this hasn't stopped people from going there. Why don't you go there? We dare you not. For more videos, please click the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and turn on the bell notifications so you never miss an upload. Thank you very much for watching SmartVille. We'll see you guys in the next video.